incredibly rusty. Look at that, man. Yeah. Now of course I've got an axle stand under there as well as my jack. Right, so now it's jacked up. Let's take a look at this rust. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. There you go, look at that. Horrible. And I didn't see this because it had some kind of black tar stuff over it. It wasn't until I started poking around I actually realised how bad it was. Yeah, that is nasty. So I'm going to need to take this plastic wheel arch off. I'll probably weld a piece from up here right down the length of that. And I have to cut all this out and treat that on the inside as well. Yeah, get some rust treatment on that inside bit. Just cut this. Yeah, just got to cut it out basically. So that's what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of hours. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this, but there you go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've cleaned this side up behind me. You can see there, I've cut all that metal away, made it nice and clean. And I have discovered a couple of holes here. So I'm going to weld a plate on the other side of this, on the inside step. And also, whilst I was under here, I had a little dig around and I found this big hole as well. Well, I've made a plate to cover over there. So this is going to be our first patch. That's simply going to fit on there like that. A little bit of finessing, that'll fit really nice. And this piece of metal, I actually got this from the bulkhead down here off of the Sean's Peugeot. Or is it a Fiat? Oh no, they're both the same. Anyway, there you go. This is what I like to call upcycling. So cheers Sean for leaving your bulkhead in the other barn. I'm going to make good use of it. Right, let's get the MIG welder out and weld that in place. And again, I'm not going to film this because it's a bit awkward to weld and film at the same time. But I'll show you what it looks like once I've done it. Well, I've got to say, I'm pretty pleased with that, how that's turned out. There you go, that's my patch all welded in place. It's not very tidy, I know. It's not the best job in the world, but it's done, it's in there, it's solid. It's better than what it was. So now all I've got to do is get some seam sealer, put over those welds, seal it all up, paint over it, job's a good one. Well, it is now the very next day and this is what it ends up looking like. It looks a little bit messy. So what I've basically done is put a big plate over all the rust first, then I made another contoured plate and welded that on top to build this out so it all shapes in nicely. And then on top of that, just to seal it and make sure there's no little gaps in where I've welded, I've put fiberglass all around the edges. It's kind of made it look a bit nasty, but that's okay. It's inside the wheel arch, no one's going to see it. So now that's all dried now. This is the next day. I'm going to paint over this and then I can carry on, once that paint's dried, making the bracket for the mud flaps. I've also put fiberglass around this patch here as well, just to seal it, make sure that, you know, when you're welding occasionally, you know, you might get a little hole blow through. So just to combat that, I've put fiberglass around this plate as well. Don't know if that's the right thing to do. Usually I would use something like a seam sealer to go around the edges of welding, but I haven't got any seam sealer and it is the Christmas period, so everywhere's shut. So I thought fiberglass would be okay. There's also some surface rust up in here, so I've put some fiberglass over that just to protect it. So I'm going to go ahead, paint all of this, and then, like I say, carry on and make me mud flaps. Have a look at this. This is incredibly rusty. Guess this is what becomes of most Varios. Really thick undersill. Look at that, it's so thick I can hardly tear it. There you go, that's just the undersill. Behind the undersill is pretty much all this rot. Look at that, oh jeez, that'll get my fucking hand through there. This is what happens when vehicles don't have an annual MOT test. Like this van never had an MOT test ever, because it was a cherry picker. It was classified as plant or machinery, so therefore MOT exempt. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad I found this whilst we've got the barn to use, because if I'd converted this van into a camper van and then got out on my road, out on the road on my merry way, and then a couple of years down the line take it for an MOT and they find this, and I've got nowhere to work on it, and I really would be screwed. So I'm ever so grateful for having this barn to work in, and you can see why I've changed tack now, why I've decided to tackle the rust rather than the van conversion itself. Looks like we're all right up there. The rust stops about here, so I'm going to get my grinder, cut that all out and weld a big plate in there, make it all good again. Again, look at this, this is the undersill. It's amazing, these must rust from the inside out. Look at how thick that undersill is. It's not like Mercedes haven't tried. I think they just forgot to paint the other side. It's almost, yeah, it's like they protected this side of the panel, but the inside of the panel, they forgot to paint it. That's what it appears like anyway. I want to say massive thank you and thumbs up to Jasper for warning me that Varios are susceptible to rot underneath the headlight. That's exactly where this is, directly underneath the headlight. So thanks Jasper for pointing that out, really appreciate it. Talking about Jasper, here he is. Have a look at this. Under there.
Ouch. Ouch, la, man.
Yeah.
Oof me.
I'd rather not.
No. Oh man.
Yeah, is that where you said, that's exactly where you said it'd be?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what they said to me. It said underneath your light it pulls, and luckily one of mine was there and I caught it, I think, but
yeah. Luckily it's only that bit there. It doesn't go much past this, so it's going to be pretty easy to repair.
Oh, so this is pretty thick stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's solid, it's just surface rust. But there, I'll just cut that off there, cut that channel out like I did the other side, then weld a plate over that bit, and then later on I'll have to take the headlight out and treat it from the inside out, because I think that's where it's rotted from. The undersill on here is incredibly thick. It's like,
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost quite dangerous. You don't want to keep loose. What the fuck's beneath that?
Yeah. Right, I want to crack on. Wish me luck.
Well, I guess at least you found it now, eh?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, end up under there.
And you got
this side's already been done.
Oh yeah.
Anyone will tell you that welding upside down is no fun at all. That's what it looks like. Nice little patch there. So now all I'm going to do now is grind all the knobbly bits off, make it a bit smoother, and then put some seam sealer over it. Job's done. Well, there you go, there's me mud flaps fitted. It only took me just over about a week and a half to fit these front mud flaps. Mind you, I did have to do quite a bit of welding. This is what it's ended up looking like. I'm really pleased how this has turned out. Doesn't look too shabby at all. That's the back and the front of the inner wheel arch as well. I had to weld that up. I mean, it doesn't look very neat, but I think it will do. It will actually do the job. And I've also treated the inside as well. Inside the doorstep here. See if I can open the door. I'm rushing this, I'm filming this really quickly because there's quite a lot of noise here today. Everyone has returned after their Christmas break and they're busy working back on their vans. Who could blame them? Anyway, there you go. So I've treated all the inside of the step as well. Really pleased how that has turned out. And have a look at what I've done. On the inside, underneath the headlights, this has all been treated. I've covered all that up, so that looks really nice now. All under there. Same the other side. Looks really good. I'm quite pleased how that's gone. So that's going to last a few years to come now. This is the other mud flap, the other side. Again, that's all been welded up, all taken care of. And the inner wheel arch as well, under there. That's all turned out really well. But I did manage to uncover some more rust around here, and I've ground as much back as I possibly can, and I've treated it with cure rust. And later on, once I've changed this brake pipe, I'm not happy about this brake pipe. It does look a little bit old and it's cracked up here, so I'm definitely going to be changing this brake pipe. Once I've done that, once I've got this brake pipe off, I should say, I'm going to paint all of this again with chassis black, just to tidy it all up and protect it, and hopefully it'll last at least another 5 years. But that's what I'm thinking in my mind. I'm thinking all of this front end of the van, it doesn't really affect the actual camper van, the living space. So if in 5 years time some of this rust does come back, and I'm pretty sure it will, it's not going to be that big a deal. I can then deal with it in 5 or 6 years time, knowing that it's not going to affect the actual living space inside the van. Now you probably notice I've taken the whole front end of my van off, and whilst I've got the headlights out, all the grille, the scuttle, everything, I'm going to take the whole front off. I'm going to take the radiator out, the whatever that is, the air filter I do believe. I'm going to get to the cooling fan, the water pump, pre-tensioner and all that good stuff, and give the engine a good service basically whilst I've got this front off. Also I've got to take the front scuttle off because there is a little bit of rust up in this top corner here. I'm really worried about this, so I'll probably do that this week. I'll probably have another go at that and try and tackle that. Still a lot of work to do before I even consider turning this van into a camper van. So there you are, that's you bang up to date. Today is actually Saturday, it's late Saturday afternoon in fact. So I'm now going to rush off to my van, edit this video, hopefully in time to get it up for your viewing pleasure Sunday evening. If I do manage to do that, then please do give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching, ta-ra for now. Nancy's back by the way.